Hey guys, if you're a show-only watcher, this won't ruin anything for you in Season 7 or 8, but if you ever plan on reading the books, close out now because we will be taking a quick trip down memory lane in honor of Areo Hotah. We're going to be taking a look at 3 chapters from A Feast for Crows, The Captain of Guards, The Soiled Knight, and The Queenmaker. So let's start off by ignoring everything that happened in the show in Doran because it's very different. Let's go back 17 years. Doran Martell has 2 living siblings, Oberyn and Elia. Elia was married to Rhaegar Targaryen, and they had 2 little children, Rhaenys and Aegon. At the end of Robert's rebellion, the Mountain allegedly killed Elia and her 2 children. Fast forward 17 years, and Oberyn tried to get his vengeance. Unfortunately, things didn't work out so well for Oberyn, so now his daughters, the Sand Snakes, are pissed, and they aren't alone. The citizens of Doran love the Red Viper, and they are pissed too. In the books, Prince Doran has a plan. It's secret though. No one knows about it, not even the Sand Snakes. Obara wants to bring the war to King's Landing. Lady Nym wants to assassinate 4 people, Cersei, Jaime, Tywin, and Tommen. And Dayne wants to marry Princess Myrcella to Trystane and declare them the rightful heirs to the throne according to Dornish law, since Myrcella is older than Tommen. Dayne's goal is to get Cersei and company to bring the war to Dorne, where the Martells will have a big advantage due to the brutal climate. What does Prince Doran decide? He decides to lock them all up so that they can chill out while he works on his own plan. But he underestimated his own daughter, Princess Arianne Martell, who was left out of the show. Princess Arianne's plan is similar to Dayne's. But first, let's get some background on Areo Hotah, Princess Arianne, and the King's Guard who was protecting Myrcella. His name was Sir Arys Oakheart. Let's start out with Areo. Areo was the youngest of 6, so he was sold to the bearded priest in Norvos, where he was trained to be a slave soldier. He was branded on his chest with the sign of an axe, and at 16, he was married to that axe. He became the bodyguard of Lady Mellario of Norvos, who married Doran Martell. So he traveled to Dorne with her, but then Mellario and Doran split up, and even though she returned to Norvos, Areo Hotah stayed on with Prince Doran. The Captain of the Guards is a point of view chapter from Areo's point of view, and I really enjoyed it because we get to see the world through his eyes and to hear his thoughts. Here is an example. When Maester Caliat mentions Sir Arys Oakheart's name to Prince Doran, this is the first thought that crosses Areo Hotah's mind. The White Knight, the captain frowned. So Arys had come to Doran to attend his own princess, as Areo Hotah had once done for his. Even their names sounded oddly alike, Areo and Arys, yet there the likeness ended. The captain had left Norvos and its bearded priest, but Sir Arys Oakheart still served the Iron Throne. Hotah had felt a certain sadness whenever he saw the man in the long, snowy cloak, the times the prince had sent him down a sunspear. One day, he sensed, the 2 of them would fight. On that day, Oakheart would die, with the captain's long axe crashing through his skull. He slid his hand along the smooth, ashen shaft of his axe and wondered if that day was drawing nigh. Now let's quickly look at Sir Arys Oakheart and Princess Arianne. Arianne seduced Sir Arys. I do think she liked him, but he was head over heels for her. And they hopped on the good foot and did the bad thing. So basically, Sir Arys Oakheart broke his Kingsguard vows, just like our boy Jon Snow did with his love, Ygritte, a couple seasons ago. Okay, so now let's get into the story. Prince Doran, Areo Hotah, and 20 guards head over to Sunspear, and when they get there, the Sand Snakes have gotten the crowds riled up. "Make way for Prince Doran," Areo Hotah boomed out, thumping the butt of his long axe on the bricks. "Make way for the Prince of Doran." "The prince is dead," a woman shrilled behind him. "To spears!" a man bellowed from a balcony. "To spears! Vengeance for the Viper!" By the time they reached the 3rd gate, the guards were shoving people aside to clear a path for the prince's litter, and the crowd was throwing things. One ragged boy darted past a spearman with half a rotten pomegranate in one hand, but when he saw Areo Hotah in his path, with long axe at the ready, he let the fruit fall unthrown and beat a quick retreat. And then we finally meet Prince Doran's beautiful daughter, Princess Arianne Martell. Princess Arianne strode to the litter on snakeskin sandals laced up to her thighs. Her hair was a mane of jet black ringlets that fell to the small of her back, and around her brow was a band of copper suns. She is still a small thing, the captain thought. Where the Sand Snakes were tall, Arianne took after her mother, who stood but 5 feet 2. Yet beneath her jeweled girdle and loose layers of flowing purple silk and yellow samite, she had a woman's body, lush and roundly curved. "Father," she announced as the curtains opened, "Sunspear rejoices at your return." He planned on returning to the Water Gardens with Myrcella, but after he imprisoned the Sand Snakes, Princess Arianne Martell, his own daughter, decided to carry out a plan for herself for a few reasons. She has the help of 4 people: Garin, Orphan of the Greenblood, Spotted Silva Santagar, Sir Gerold Dayne, otherwise known as Darkstar, and Sir Andre Dalt, otherwise known as Dre. They meet up with Sir Arys Oakheart, who has snuck off with Princess Myrcella, and the 7 of them ride to the Greenblood, where they plan on taking pole boats up a river to Hellhole, where they will marry Princess Myrcella and Trystane. Things go pretty smoothly, all the way to the Greenblood. When they get there, Garin yells out, "Wake up, you fish-eyed lagabeds! Your queen is here and wants her royal welcome!" The door of the pole boat slammed open. Out into the sunlight stepped Areo Hotah, long axe in hand. Garin jerked to a halt. Arianne felt as though an axe had caught her in the belly. It was not supposed to end this way. This was not supposed to happen. When she heard Dre say, "There's a last face I'd hoped to see," she knew she had to act. "Away!" she cried, vaulting back into the saddle. "Arys, protect the princess!" Hotah thumped the butt of his long axe upon the deck. Behind the ornate rails of the pole boat, a dozen guardsmen rose, armed with throwing spears or crossbows. Still more appeared atop the cabin. "Yield, my princess," the captain called. "Else we must slay all but the child and yourself, by your father's word." Dre unbuckled his sword belt. "Yielding seems the wisest course." "No!" Sir Arys Oakheart put his horse between Arianne and the crossbows, his blade shining silver in his hand. He had unslung his shield and slipped his left arm through the straps. "You will not take her whilst I still draw breath." "You reckless fool," was all that Arianne had time to think. "What do you think you're doing?" Darkstar's laughter rang out. "Are you blind or stupid, Oakheart? There are too many. Put up your sword." "Do as he says, Sir Arys," Dre urged. So Arys Oakheart gave her one last longing look, then put his golden spurs into his horse and charged. He rode headlong for the pole vault, his white cloak streaming behind him. Arianne Martell had never seen anything half so gallant or half so stupid. "No!" she shrieked, but she had found her tongue too late. A crossbow thrummed, then another. Hotah bellowed a command. At such close range, the White Knight's armor had as well been made of parchment. The first bolt punched right through his heavy oaken shield, pinning it to his shoulder. The second grazed his temple. A thrown spear took Sir Arys' mount in the flank, yet still the horse came on, staggering as he hit the gangplank. "No!" some girl was shouting, some foolish little girl. "No, please, this was not supposed to happen." She could hear Myrcella shrieking too, her voice shrill with fear. Sir Arys' longsword slashed right and left, and 2 spearmen went down. His horse reared and kicked a crossbowman in the face as he was trying to reload, but the other crossbowmen were firing, feathering the big corsair with quarrels. The bolts hit home so hard they knocked the horse sideways. His legs went out from under him and sent him crashing down upon the deck. Somehow, Arys Oakheart leapt free. He even managed to keep hold of his sword. He struggled to his knees behind the dying horse and found Areo Hotah standing over him. The White Knight raised his blade, too slowly. Hotah's long axe took his right arm off at the shoulder, spun away spraying blood, and came flashing back in a terrible 2-handed slash that removed the head of Arys Oakheart and sent it spinning through the air. It landed amongst the reeds, and the green blood swallowed the red with a soft splash.